This is Dr. Heather here, and previously I've talked about some neck tension when lifting. So whether or not you're experiencing some tension up here in the neck when you're doing all your different lifting moves and what that could be a result of, why you're experiencing like neck pain, stiffness, discomfort when you're performing various lifting movement patterns. So the one thing we addressed was that it's actually more of the traps starting to become over-engaged and overstimulated. So somebody had asked, well, you know, if the traps are getting overstimulated, how can we create more of a balanced programming so that the traps don't take a brunt of the work, but that we're still getting some good trap development in, but without overtasking the area. So what I wanted to do was first kind of address the anatomy a little bit. So I'm going to spin my friend around, Mr. Super Skeleton here, and as we can see, ignore his curvature of his spine, but as we can see here, here's our shoulder blade over here. So you can see both shoulder blades on both sides, and then obviously here's the skull, our cervical spine, then coming down into our thoracic spine. You can also see the ribs coming off here as well. So if we take a look at where our trap is, it starts right up here at the base of the occiput, then it comes down on a triangular level, and then comes right here to the top part of the scapula, and then kind of then comes down a little bit into this zone here, into the upper thoracics, and then comes back up the thoracic spine, and obviously it's equal on both sides. So when we talk about trap tension, we actually want to address what's going on here at the scapula, okay? So we want to make sure that our scapula is getting good range of motion, both elevation, depression, protraction coming forward, retraction coming back, and that at the same token, we're also noticing good flexibility in our thoracic spine so that we're not feeling that things are locked up here either. The other thing is, we also want to make sure our traps are staying nice and relaxed by accompanying and doing some nice either soft tissue work or stretching, probably prior or after the workout. So understanding kind of the relationship of where our traps sit and the fact that it is a lot of what we call upper back muscles. When we engage those traps, there are a few things that we can do to create more balance and allowing for the traps not to get overstimulated prior to doing heavy lifts like snatches, like jerks, like our deadlifts, where you will be engaging the trap, but you don't want to feel like it's over engaging. So I'm going to go through a few things that you guys can do that are basic, they're simple, having access to nothing or a few things, and then also looking at some exercises you can do to really kind of balance out this relationship so you're not feeling like the traps are getting overtasked when you're doing your lifting and it's not creating some post-neck stiffness, discomfort, or pain that you might be feeling, like I said, post-lifting. So guys, let's go ahead and we're going to start first with the soft tissue bit. And as you know, I'm a big component of soft tissue and stretching before we kind of lift. Not excessive, but enough to kind of just open up the area. So this way, when we perform our actions, when we perform our lifts, the correct muscle groups are firing and we're having success with hitting those, PRs and everything that's going into that lift for today. All right, so let's start with some soft tissue. As you know, I'm a big component of soft tissue release. So before we start lifting, it's a really good idea to actually come down and do a quick roll. All right, so like we mentioned, we're experiencing some stiffness, some neck discomfort, thanks to some of our lifting moves, just because those traps are getting a little over engaged. So we're going to go ahead and first, we're going to just roll out our upper back. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down onto the roller, get the roller kind of right at broad line, and from here, we're just going to roll so we feel right in between our shoulder blades, getting a nice release. You might hear a little cavitational release, which is fine. You can come in, get a little roll onto one shoulder blade as well, and then onto the other one too. If you're really noticing some tightness in your neck, you may want to take a ball against the wall and try to work along that shoulder blade as well. The other thing you could do is you can come down, and some of you may feel this, some of you may not, is to lay the head on the roller without your puppy in front of you. Excuse me, shoulder just like so. And what you would do from here is just nice and easy, put some pressure on that upper trap, base of the skull, neck area. You could do a little bit of rocking of the head side to side. You may feel some trigger points underneath that occipital area here. Again, that's where the traps do originate from. So you might just feel some nice little tension release there. Okay, so you would just roll on your roller a little bit, pretty much 10 times each side. The other area you do want to get, which I did address before, is actually into your lat. So it's really important that you go ahead and you get the lat as well, because the lat does come off the scapula, and we're talking about making sure that we have good scapular range of motion to help decrease the amount of tension that we're feeling in our neck, because again, we don't want those traps overstimulated. We want them engaging, but we don't want them over-stimulated. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down onto our side. You're going to create a knife edge with the hand, and you're actually going to lay back onto that scap. So from here, I'm laying back onto that scap. I could put the foot in front. Right off the bat, you may feel a trigger point right at the lat teres area. You could feel some numbness tingling in the hand, but what you want to do is try to lift your body and arm up, really dig out that point and let it release. So it's a combination of hitting the lat and the teres minor a little bit, which again, you need good range of motion in that scapula, in that shoulder, to take tension off those traps when lifting. Okay, so now let's go to a nice easy stretch that you can do using a pole. Okay, so I'm going to take my PVC pole, and I'm going to take my other hand. I'm going to flip my hand upside down, so my thumb is down. I'm going to come bring it to the back side, so as if I'm going to bring my arm into external rotation. I'm then going to grab the pole from underneath. And what I'm doing is I'm allowing myself to go ahead and get a good stretch going in that rotator cuff. Again, allowing for that scapula to get a little bit more movement. And you would just hold for a few seconds. Again, you want to do it to both sides. So right there, there's some soft tissue work you can do, easy stretch you can do with a PVC pipe to start to get some external rotation going as well. Now I'm going to show you a couple stretches you could do with the TRX before we get into strengthening. So for those that have already been watching some of my videos, you know I'm very much big into functional movement, functional training. So before we start doing any of our Olympic lifts, it's actually a good idea to start doing some of the things that we've already started, which is the soft tissue, using a PVC pole to go ahead and get some range of motion going in the shoulders. Again, getting a little bit more with external rotation, and you could add in some shoulder flexion. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the TRX to help us get a little bit more stretch in, but stretch against resistance. So the first one we're going to start to do is a nice, easy, basic golf swing. So we're going to come in, we're going to kind of set our hips back, tension in the straps. We're going to open up the side of the body, eyes looking down. Again, getting some really great range of motion and stretch behind the scapula. So from here, we're going to do 10 times looking down, then 10 times looking at the hand as well. Again, getting some good range of motion in the scaps. The other one, which you could have done with the PVC pipe, which is just nice, easy range of motion, kind of essentially going, up into shoulder flexion, even almost trying to bring the arms down and back. We're going to do it with the TRX next. So we're going to go ahead and do a nice active shoulder flexion stretch. Now, you may be thinking shoulder flexion does engage the traps a bit. So what we want to do is we actually want to kind of start tiring them out by bringing them in through the range of motion before we lift. Because again, we don't want the traps over engaging here. We want them engaging, but not over. So what we're going to do is we're going to come with our arms straight up. We're going to go ahead, we're going to fall to here, keeping a nice plank position, coming back up, and we're going to repeat this 20 times. So again, getting just nice range of motion going. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in actually a lat stretch with this. So we're going to go ahead, bring the arms up, come here, fold the body back, allow for that nice big stretch to happen, and if you want, go ahead and give yourself a little bit of rotation, allowing for that scap to really stretch out, and you can go ahead and do that to both sides. And then you would just simply thrust the hips forward, coming back up. So here it is again, falling back, drop the hips, stretch it out to one side, then stretch it out to the other side, and then nice and easy, coming back up. Okay, so now we've just started to warm up our back a little bit. We've gone ahead, done some very active stretches. So we've done our soft tissue work, we've used our pull to kind of get just range of motion going, which is hugely important, and you don't necessarily need to do it with weight. And then we went a little bit more active by starting to get our body a little bit more warmed and getting some muscle groups fully stretched out. So this way, as we get ready to start lifting, we don't overtask those trapped muscles. Okay, so now here is some exercises you can do to create more balance around not overstimulating those traps. So a couple of the exercises I like to do, so this way my traps aren't over engaging. Again, I start a little bit by utilizing the TRX to help me do those. So these are actually 3 different row exercises. So the first one we're going to start with is a high row. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on squeezing and pinching my shoulder blades, keeping my chest out, falling back, squeezing and pinching those shoulder blades. Again, activating those rhomboids, taking tension out of those traps, and allowing for my back muscles to really engage. Then I'm going to come here to a nice neutral grip, same action, but I'm going to do 15 of them. Then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a reverse grip row for 10. So right there are 3 different row exercises you could do to start engaging those rhomboids a little bit more, taking tension out of the trap. Okay, so now here's another one that you can do to really help engage the rhomboids and decrease that tension that you're feeling in the traps. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, we're going to open our arms up nice and wide. This is a reverse fly with the TRX. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back in a nice staggered stance, squeezing and pinching those shoulder blades. You're going to fall back, keeping that plank position. Then you're going to lift that body up, focusing and bringing that chest up towards that anchor point and coming back down. Again, you're allowing for the traps to relax, really focusing on engaging those rhomboids to create more balance and symmetry. So we have our rows, we have a reverse fly. Now we're going to do an inverted fly with the TRX. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to bring our arms down as if we're pushing down into it. This is going to engage your lats a little bit more and the triceps. From here, we're going to fall back. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lift our body all the way up, and we're going to just kind of stick our chest out, engaging nice and strong. So from here, we've got a nice inverted fly going. Okay, so again, those are 3 right there that you can do with the TRX. Now let's look at some stuff you could do with a machine or a dumbbell. So if you are going to a gym, a nice easy exercise you could do to start taking tension out of the traps, but also starting to really engage some more of the muscles in the back, along with the lats, along with the rhomboids, is actually a push down. So if you're coming to the gym, grab your T-bar, set your weight, have your feet shoulder width apart, arms at chest height, and from here going ahead, pushing down in front of you, again engaging that core. So here, keeping the shoulder blades down and depressed, and really going ahead and pushing through the movement, engaging the core as well. So that's another exercise you could do there, which is just a T-bar push down. So now let's go ahead and look at one other. Another great exercise you could do to really kind of get the shoulders to feel that depression going down, relaxing those traps a little further, is actually a lat pull down. There's 2 different ways you could do this to really kind of help engage rhomboid stimulation and lat contraction while not feeling like you're overtasking those traps, especially after you've done some lift moves. So the first one is to do a wide grip. Now I'm not a big person, so my hands will go out as wide as I can when I make that V position. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to come here, come sit down with my weight, lean back slightly, tighten up those abs. First thing I want to do, as you can see, is bring my shoulder blades down and back, and then from there, bring the weight down, coming back up. So right off the bat, figure out, go ahead and depress those shoulders down and back by feeling that motion, and then coming here and bringing the arms down towards the clavicle height. Now, that's a wide grip. Now what we want to do is change it to a close grip. So we're going to bring the hands in to shoulder width, and we're going to be pulling down here. You can either use the lat pull down bar, or you can take a neutral grip handle as well to do the action. We're going to stay with this bar for purposes of the video today. So I'm going to come in. I have my index finger, there's a little bit of a line here. I'm going to come down, sit down, lean back. Again, push those shoulder blades down and back. Feel them depress, bringing the bar down towards my clavicle, and then back up. So again, coming down, and then bringing the bar back up. All right, so that's a little bit of a taste of how you would start going ahead and creating some more balance around your back workout. So this way, you're not feeling like the traps over-engage and create neck stiffness, tightness, discomfort, or pain after you've done a series of lifts. If you have more questions or anything specific to you, please let me know. As always, like the channel, like some videos, and if you need any further assistance, I'm Dr. Heather, here to help everybody feeling successful with their fitness journey and feeling like they can continue on in a pain-free way. Talk to you guys all soon. Have a good day.